Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Okay. So,
Afternoon.
okay. So the last class we finished the basic finishes. The finishes are classified into two: the basic finish and specific finish. The ironing, cleaning, tantering, stiffening. All these are the basic finishes. That is which means that it is essential for all the fabrics. No matter all the fabrics, it is needed. That is called as basic finish. Let's move on to the specific or the special finishes. The first is waterproofing. Waterproofing. What does it mean? The finish that helps to avoid the entry of water to the fabrics. As the name says, waterproofing. It provides a proof from the water. The finishes does not allow the entry of water to the fabrics. That is called as waterproofing finishes. But it is not very comfortable to wear because what is the reason for that? Because the transmission of heat doesn't take place in these fabrics. Okay, the waterproofing means it does not allow the entry of water to the fabrics. It is suitable for the raincoats and all, but it is not suitable to wear because it doesn't transfer the heat from the fabrics or from the body to the fabrics. Okay, that's why it is not comfortable to wear. In this case, a coating of rubber, varnish, resin is an insoluble substance. Okay, so the rubber, varnish, silicone are used or applied to the fabrics for making these kinds of fabrics. Okay, so the waterproofing fabrics means a coat of rubber or varnish or silicone, anything that is applied to the fabrics. For this waterproofing. These waterproofing fabrics are not very comfortable to wear because it doesn't transfer the heat. It is not comfortable to wear. But these finishes are not allow the entry of water. That is called as waterproofing. This is one of the specific finish. It is not necessary for all the fabrics, right? We don't need the waterproofing for all the fabrics. That's why we included the waterproofing in specific finishes or the special finishes. Next is sanforizing. What does it mean? This is a process that basically used to control the shrinkage. Shrinkage. You can control the shrinkage or the shrinking ability of the fabrics by this process, sanforizing. After the sanforizing process, the fabrics will not shrink even after washing. Okay, sometimes you can see the sanforizing trademark in some clothes. Sanforizing trademark is there, which means that the clothes or the fabrics will not shrink. Okay, sanforizing trademark, which means the clothes or the fabrics that does not shrink after the washing. Even after washing, the clothes are not shrink after this sanforizing process. Is it clear? So the first specific finish is waterproofing. As the name says, it doesn't allow the entry of water uh, into the fabrics, and sanforizing means it prevent or it control the shrinkage after the washing, even after the finish. In this case, the fabric is stretched. We stretch the fabric and pressed against a hot roller so it makes compact. Okay, that is a process of sanforizing. We stretch the fabric or we stretch the cloth and then we press against. First we stretch the cloth and we press the cloth against a hot roller. Okay, just like as in the calendering. The hot rollers are there in calendar machine. Just like as that, here the rollers. Using this roller, we press the fabrics or the cloth to make the cloth compact. That is a process of sanforizing. Just understand that sanforizing is basically used to control the shrinkage. Okay, to control the shrinkage, the sanforizing is used. Next is mercerization. Okay. Next is mensurization. So, which are the special finishes, Reina? Reina? Special.
Water.
Waterproofing and sulfurizing.
Waterproofing and
Sulfurizing.
sulfurizing. The next one is, next one, Reina, what is the next one? Next specific finish? Mercerizing. What is it? Mercerizing. Okay. So in this mercerizing process, we soak the fabrics in a caustic soda solution. Okay, for this mercerizing process, we soak our fabric in a caustic soda solution for a 15 minutes. Okay, so we soak the fabrics in caustic soda for 15 minutes under the regulated pressure and temperature. Okay, so this is the process of mercerizing. In mercerizing, the fabric that is soaked in a, which solution, Reina?
Caustic soda.
Yeah, caustic soda solution. We soak the fabrics in caustic soda solution for 15 minutes under the regulated pressure and temperature. Okay. So under the regulated pressure and temperature, we soak the fabrics to be mercerized in a caustic soda solution for a 15 minutes. Okay. So after this 15 minutes, the cloth is dried. The cloth is washed and neutralized in a dilute acidic solution. So first the fabric is soaked in a caustic soda solution for 15 minutes and then the cloth is washed. And again, it is applied with a, or it is used with a dilute acidic solution, not the concentrated. The dilute acidic solution is used. And again, the fabric is washed and dried. Okay. So mercerizing means first the cloth is soaked in the caustic soda solution for 15 minutes and then under the regulated pressure and temperature. So mercerizing means we soak the fabrics in a caustic soda solution for the 15 minutes under the regulated pressure, or according to the mercerization under the regulated pressure and temperature. We soak the fabrics and then we wash the clothes and then again we applied with a dilute acidic solution. Then again the cloth is washed and dried. Okay, this is the process of mercerization. Meghna, try. What is the process of mercerization?
We soak the fabric in a caustic soda solution for 15 minutes under regulated pressure and temperature. Then we wash the clothes and then we neutralize it in a dilute acidic solution.
Then it's not finished. Then again we wash the clothes and then it dries. Okay. Again we wash the clothes. First we wash the clothes and we applied the dilute acidic solution, and after this process we again wash the clothes and dried. Okay, this is the complete process of mercerization. So what is the function of this process? This helps to make the fabric strong. This mercerization process that basically used to make the fabric strong, durable and compact. Mercerization is basically for making the fabric strong, durable and compact. And it also improves the luster. Luster means the shining, okay, or the glow. Luster. Then it also increases the strength. It increases the strength of the fabric. These are the functions of the mercerization process. Okay, and again there are lots of importance for this process, mercerization. And the dyeing and printing is also easy after this mercerization process. The dyeing and printing is also easy after the mercerization process. So there are lots of importance for the mercerizing. Mercerizing means the fabric is usually soaked in a caustic soda solution for the 15 minutes under the regulated pressure. Sana, I just repeat what is mercerization. Okay. In mercerization, the fabrics. First, we take the fabrics and we soak the fabrics in a caustic soda solution. Okay. For 15 minutes under some regulated pressure and temperature. And then we wash the clothes and again we applied some dilute acidic solution to the cloth, and again we wash the clothes and we dried the clothes. Okay, this is a process of mercerization. Why we use this mercerization? Because it helps to make the fabric strong, it helps to make the fabrics durable, it's long lasting, and it make the clothes compact. It's the strength of the fiber or the fabrics increased, the luster increased. Both the dyeing and printing process is also easy after the mercerizing process. Is it clear, Rena? Okay. So, Meghna, what is a waterproofing finish?
In waterproofing finish, it does not allow the water to enter the fabric.
Okay. What is a waterproofing finish? Is it a basic finish or a specific finish?
Specific.
Very good. Then, Reina, what about the next one? That is sanforizing.
It is stretches the fiber in a roller and make it compact.
Sanforizing means?
The fabric is stretched.
Sanforizing. It is a process used to control the shrinkage. Sanforizing means it is a process to control the shrinkage. Some fabrics, you can see some fabrics with this trademark, sanforizing. So that means the fabrics never shrink even after the washing. Okay, that is known as sanforizing. What is it, Sana? Sanforizing. Sanforizing means it's a trademark or it's a process that used to control the shrinkage. The clothes are shrink, right? So after this process or after the sanforizing process, the clothes will never shrink even after the washing. Okay, that is called as sanforizing. And then we learned about mercerization, right? Reina, try. Try the process of mercerization.
The process of mercerization is
We
done.
saw something, right?
The fabric is soaked in a caustic soda solution, and it's regulated temperature.
Under the regulated pressure and temperature. Okay, under the regulator means under the control pressure and temperature. Then Reina, unmute.
It has been washed.
Yeah.
And
after washing,
then they add a dilute.
Again we apply the very good dilute acidic solution.
Then after that they dry.
Again washed and
dry.
Okay, fine. So what are the importance of mercerization process, Sana? There are some features of that. What is it?
Strong, durable, compact.
Yeah, it make the fabric compact. Then
Increase in strength.
Yeah, increasing strength.
Improves the luster.
Improves the luster. Okay. Sana? Anything else?
Nothing.
Okay. So the next specific finish, that is smooth proofing. The waterproofing is there. The other one is smooth proofing. What do you mean by a moth? You can see the picture here. These are the cloth moths. Okay. The first two ones. These are the cloth moths. The other one is a food moth. That's okay. These are the cloth moths. Basically, it damage or create holes in the garments. Okay. You can see a hole here, right? That is moth proofing. Moth proofing means it is basically done for the woolen clothes because the woolen clothes are very susceptible to the moth attack. So in this case, the finish is given to protect the woolen clothes from moth attack. This finish is basically used to prevent the attack from the moths. As the name says, moth proofing, right? So the fabric is proof from the moth. So basically the woolen clothes are more susceptible, and we can use the fluoride and silicofluoride. Okay, fluoride and silicofluoride for the moth proofing. And there are some natural methods. There are some natural methods to prevent this moth attack. That is dry cleaning. We can dry clean the clothes or proper washing after wearing, and then exposure to sunlight. Neem leaves are used to prevent the attack from the moths. Okay. The natural methods like dry cleaning, exposure to sunlight. Before storing the clothes, we need to expose our clothes in the sunlight. And dry cleaning, proper washing, all these help to prevent the attack from the moth. It's simple, right? Okay, so specific finishes are moth proofing. Next, mercerizing, sanforizing, and waterproofing. Okay, these are the specific finish. And two more is there, that is dyeing and printing. Okay, dyeing and printing. So we finished the waterproofing, moth proofing, mercerizing, and sanforizing. Two more is there, that is dyeing and printing. So first we are going to look the dyeing one. Dyeing. What does it mean? You already learned this, right? Volunteer.
Coloring the clothes.
Very
Okay.
good. The coloring of the fibers, filaments, or yarns, anything. That is called as dyeing. There are many types of colors on the base of sources. On the base of sources, there are different types of colors. We can divide it into two, that is natural dyes and synthetic dyes. Okay, in our world, we can see lots of colors. So according to the sources, according to the source, we classify the colors or the dyeing into two, that is natural dyes and synthetic dyes. What do you mean by a natural dye? This is Adina Koshi.
It's not a man-made from nature like plants and all.
Yeah, the natural fibers is basically obtained from nature. Okay, natural fibers are basically obtained from nature, but it is very expensive when compared with synthetic dyes. The natural dyes are very expensive. Why is it so, Sana? Why the natural fibers are very expensive than the synthetic ones?
Because it is from nature, we have
Yeah,
to
it is
find.
very difficult to find the natural ones, right? So this natural fibers are again classified into three, like our what? Threads, right? We classify the things into vegetable, animal, and all. Just like as that, the natural dyes. Sorry, the natural, just a minute. The natural dyes are classified into three. Vegetable dyes. What does it mean? Vegetable dyes, Reina.
Plant dyes.
Huh?
The vegetables, plant dyes.
Very good. The dyes are the colors that are obtained from the various parts of the plants. That is called as vegetable dyes. Vegetable dyes. Vegetable dyes means it is basically obtained, or the colors that we obtained from the various parts of the plant. Sana, can you give an example for that? Anything, any color from natural? Reina, Meghna, anyone?
Root, bark.
Yeah, that's the parts. Okay, the orange color is from the carrots. Huh? Orange color from carrots, the brown from tea and coffee, right? And then the pink from some cherries and pink roses. These are all from the various parts of the plants. The orange color, the pink roses, cherries, all these are used.
Yellow.
Yeah, yellow for turmeric, right?
Ma'am, from lemon can we get the yellow color or pink color?
Yeah, yes. Naturally you can get, then it's fine. Okay, that is called as vegetable dyes. And next is animal dyes. What does it mean, the animal dyes? Reina. Fine. Sana, what is animal dyes?
The dye from the animals.
The dyes basically obtained from the insects. Okay, insects, fish and all. Not from all the animals and all. So we can't say like that. So animal dyes are basically obtained from the insects, fish and all. A very good example of the animal dye is COCHINEAL, cochineal. Okay. It gives a red color. It gives a red color. It's very important. Okay, try to remember the spelling. COCHINEAL. It gives a red color or a red dye. It is basically from an insect. That's it. Okay. This color or the red color is basically from an insect, cochineal. COCHINEL. Okay. Is it clear? So the natural dyes are classified into three: vegetable dyes, animal dyes, and mineral dyes. Okay. So the vegetable dyes means the colors that basically obtained from the various parts of the plants. Animal dyes means the color or the dyes obtained from the fishes and insect. What is the spelling, Reina, of that animal dye?
ANIMA.
Okay, COC, it gives a red color. COCHINEAL. Is it correct? No? Yeah. Then mineral dyes. So the third one is mineral dyes. As the name says, the dyes obtained from the minerals are called as mineral dyes. Can give an example. The bright yellow color are basically from the putting the pieces of iron, plus wooden ash. Okay, the iron plus wooden ash in vinegar solution. Okay, that gives a bright yellow color. That gives a bright yellow color. Okay, this is an example for the mineral dyes. The iron and wooden ash. The bright yellow color is obtained by putting the pieces. We put some pieces of irons and the wooden ash in a vinegar solution. It gives a bright yellow color. Okay, this is an example for the mineral dyes. And what are the advantages or the some features of natural dyes? You learned it, right? Natural dyes are, give some features of natural dyes. Anything. It can be advantage or a disadvantage.
Natural dye are difficult to obtain.
Very good. It is difficult to obtain. That is the main reason, because it is inexpensive, right? Sorry, it is expensive. Then it is very difficult to obtain. That is a reason for expensive. Then
It gives good colors or bright colors.
Meghna?
It gives good or bright colors.
Actually, the very bright colors, very bright red, very bright yellow, that is not possible in the case of natural dyes. Okay, very bright colors cannot be produced, right? Okay, very bright colors cannot be produced using the natural dyes. Okay, the very bright colors cannot be obtained from the natural dyes. This is a disadvantage, right? But the natural dyes are very unique. The natural dyes are very unique and they are eco-friendly. Is it so, Sana? They're eco-friendly, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And we can easily use this natural dyes, or we can use it very safely in our cosmetics. There is no problem with that. It's made from natural sources. Okay, so we can easily use the things in cosmetics without any fear. Next, what about the synthetic dyes? Raina, synthetic dyes. Or
They're very cheap
yeah, they are very cheap and easy to obtain. Then,
obtain.
Hmm.
And the colors are many variants.
yeah, then very bright colors can be obtained from the synthetic dyes. Almost all the colors that we used from the paper to the cloth, everything is synthetic dyes. Okay, because it is very cheaper to obtain and it is inexpensive when compared with the natural dyes. Almost all the colors are made up of synthetic dyes, which is basically prepared by the synthesis of various chemicals. Synthetic dyes are basically obtained by the synthetic dyes are prepared by the synthesis of various chemicals. Okay, so various chemicals are used to prepare the synthetic dyes. We can classify the synthetic dyes into three, just like as the natural dyes. Natural dyes are classified into vegetable dyes, animal dyes, and mineral dyes. Just like as this, just like as that, the synthetic dyes are classified into three: acidic dyes, basic dyes, and neutral dyes. Acidic, basic, and neutral dyes. Okay. Then the methods of dyeing and all you can learn in the next class. Okay. Time is 2:27. So, do you know tie and dye? Did you learn that? Did you watch the video?
No video, but we tried the natural tie and dye.
Okay. So, next class we can learn that. Tie and dye, various methods of dyeing, printing and all. So just anyone, just summarize. I will stop recording. Okay.